Conflicts mark the frontiers, the places where we weaken and divide. Yet these same frontiers embody the forces that strengthen us, bring us together, transform us, and dissipate our differences. Conflicts probe both our innermost natures and the outermost limits of our being. They provoke cruelty and compassion, competition and collaboration, revenge and reconciliation. Conflicts are immense sources of stress and pain, which we try to avoid. At the same time, they are indicators of areas in our lives and organizations that require immediate attention, deep thinking, and willingness to change. In facing our conflicts, opening our hearts, and locating the center of what is not working, we pass through to the other side, uncovering hidden choices and transformational opportunities that ask us to develop, grow, and to learn more about our inner selves. Those are two excellent quotes regarding conflict. What they're basically saying is that conflict isn't something negative. It is the gateway to growth, change, and transformation. Transformation of self, transformation of organizations, transformation of the person that you're having conflict with. You never want to run away from the fire. You want to run toward it, to put it out. If you simply run away from the fire, it's going to keep burning. It's going to get worse. A trainer of mine once said, you never want to run away from the bomb. You want to run toward it, to unpack it. Conflict is that bomb that needs to be unpacked to achieve transformation. Conflict can be the gateway to new beginnings, to new opportunity. So, what causes conflict? It could be a number of things. It could be misinterpretation, miscommunication, unmet values. I talked about that before in one of my previous videos, making value-aligned decisions and solutions. But the one thing that you never want to do is simply try to avoid the conflict. You never want to let the fire keep burning. In her book, Emotional Agility, Dr. Susan David talks about two types of people, the bottler and the brooder. And these two types of people, they are the type to let the fire keep burning. You don't want to be the bottler or the brooder. You want to be the person who addresses the conflict. Susan David says, bottlers try to unhook by pushing emotions to the side and getting on with things. When we try to unhook simply by killing off our feelings, the real victim is our own well-being. The problem with bottling is that ignoring troubling emotions doesn't get at the root of whatever is causing them. So the bottler simply tries to ignore their feelings or their emotions and say, let me just go on with life. No, that's not something that you want to do. Susan David says that research shows that attempting to minimize or ignore thoughts and emotions only serves to amplify them. Concerning the brooder, Susan David says, brooders are similarly hard to deal with because they tend to dump their real heavy emotions on others. They want to talk it out with those close to them, but at some point, even their nearest and dearest get empathy fatigue, tiring of a brooder's constant need to talk about fears, worries, and struggles. So you never want to be the bottler. You don't want to be the brooder either. You want to be the person who resolves the conflict. Now, when it comes to conflict between two people, mediators help those two people understand each other better to resolve the conflict by reflecting. Reflecting is a skill, and it's a skill that you can use as well. So let's say that Tim and Sue are housemates, and they are having a major conflict. And if I was the mediator, I would ask, okay, so Sue, would you like to start off by telling us what's going on? And Sue says that I am furious at Tim because he never ever keeps up his end of the bargain when it comes to housework. So when you reflect, you're looking for the values behind the emotion. And as I said before, values are simply whatever is important to you. I would then reflect and say, so Sue, it sounds like what you're telling me is that you are feeling furious at Tim because shared responsibility is something that's important to you. Is that correct? When you reflect, again, you are looking for the values behind the emotions. And you always want to use words like, it seems like you're feeling angry, or it seems like you're feeling furious. Because you never want to put words in another person's mouth. So again, it seems like you're feeling furious because shared responsibility is something that's important to you. Is that correct? Again, you always want to ask, is that correct? Because you don't want to put words in another person's mouth. If a person is feeling like you are trying to put words in their mouth, that is just going to make the fire burn even hotter. What's Tim's issue with Sue? He might say, well, I'm ticked off at her because she's always forgetting to lock the door. Okay, then I would reflect to him. I might say, okay, so it sounds like you're saying that you are ticked off, that's the feeling or emotion, because safety is something that's important to you. Is that correct? So reflecting is one of the skills, one of the tools that you can use to unpack your conflict, which you are having with another person. So another tool or skill that mediators use to unpack the bomb called conflict is the open-ended question. Let's say Tim says that I'm angry at Sue because she's a slouch. And then Sue starts arguing with Tim. I might say to Tim, I heard you mention the word slouch. Can you help me understand what you mean by that? Or can you elaborate on that a little more? And then Tim might say, well, she constantly leaves her belongings on the floor. Then I might go into a reflection. Okay, so what you're saying is that you're feeling angry because cleanliness is something that's important to you. Is that correct? Reflecting and open-ended questions are two of the tools that you can use to unpack the bomb called conflict. Don't be the bottler, don't be the brooder. Now, I understand that there are some instances that if you cannot confront a person face to face, such as maybe a person that you don't have access to, maybe it's a boss who is way above you that you don't have access to, I understand. But whenever you can confront a person, you need to jump into the fire. Don't run away from it. So, conflict is not necessarily something negative. Again, it is the gateway to growth, opportunity, change, and transformation. Sometimes it is the opportunity to delve beneath another person's iceberg, or even your iceberg, to understand yourself better or to understand another person better. Resolving conflict means going further, taking risks, opening wounds, and exploring dangerous terrain to locate the center of what isn't working. It requires great courage, honesty, and self-knowledge to open a Pandora's box of fear, resistance, dishonesty, revenge, oppression, and all the defenses and rationalizations that keep individuals, organizations, and societies locked in conflict.